Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Sci-fi AI. Sci-fi, which is about Judaism in the sci-fi world. So as per the usual announcement beginning, I'm going to try to pitch you membership. So buy it, because not only does it help us, but it helps you. It gives you discounts on all sorts of Star merchandise and events. It gives you this really cool ID card that really streamlines the sign-in process. And you get a lot of member benefits, like pre-ordering tickets to a lot of movies that we see throughout the year.
Hello, and hello, Internet. This Saturday, Star is going to go on an away mission, which means we are going to leave RIT, and we are going to go to the Strong Museum of Play. This weekend is their In Another Galaxy weekend, which is like sci-fi themed, and that's us. They're going to have the 501st there. The 501st is this really awesome Star Wars cosplay group. They are incredible. If you would like to come with us, please fill out the form that I will post again to the Slack, or you can just come up to me. I'm going with the goggles, and I'll be sitting right there, and you can just fill out the form. If you can drive with us, if you can be one of our drivers, that would be awesome, and we will pay for your ticket with us. We need some drivers. Yeah?
What time to what time on Saturday?
Yep, we are meeting at noon in the SAU lobby, so right outside of Nathan's, and we are planning to be at the Strong Museum from about 1 to 4.
Okay.
Okay, please do it. Come talk to me about it.
So we are also going to be attending the Cosplay Snow Festival, which is Cosplay Troupe's big convention thing that they run every year. We are going to be running Artemis, as we do at most things that happen on campus. So if anyone is unaware, Artemis is basically, if you're familiar with Star Trek, everyone has like a little station on the bridge that does like something that makes the ship fly. It's that, but each station is a computer, and everyone just collaborates to make a spaceship fly and kill things, and also not die. It's a lot of fun, and if you have no experience in it whatsoever, it's actually really easy to pick up and not only learn, but then also teach others. So if you want to help us run Artemis, you will get a free event badge if you volunteer for enough time with us. You can just show up for 2 minutes and then get your free badge and go. So you'll be able to help out other people. You'll be able to fill in slots and actually play if someone needs an extra person, and also you'll be able to just hang out with us and have a good time. So Cosplay Snow Festival, help us out, get a free ticket. We're also going to see The Last Jedi next month. At the 7 p.m. showing at Regal Henrietta. The carpool is going to be at 5:30 outside Nathan's. We are not pre-buying tickets for this movie, just because it's like big Disney movie, all sorts of hassle to go through. That's a thing that I just made up. It's pretty cool. I'm going to keep using that word. But yes, we are still doing our free carpool there, so we will drive you there, and you can buy your tickets either beforehand or at the event. Book club just started a new book. That was a fantastic time to join. It's called Cave of Steel. Caves of Steel.
More than one.
There's multiple Caves of Steel. So you can go talk to Alex, who so helpfully interrupted me. If you are interested in checking out that book, Alex, do you want to pitch it really quickly to people? What the book is about, why people should join book club and talk about this book?
So recalling from last week's mystery, last week. Segue, as it is the mystery of popular scientist on Earth who was trying to bring robots into the world from other colonized worlds. The Caves of Steel, the title, refers to the fact that on Earth, all of humanity has migrated to megacities that are all underneath great big domes of steel. Therefore, the Caves of Steel that they live day in, day out, and never go to the outside.
Oh, gee, that name Asimov sounds really familiar. Where have I heard that before, Alex?
That's the Asimov, the classic science fiction writers.
Yeah, what did he write?
Such as the Foundation Trilogy, and a lot of nonfiction books.
So there you go, another Asimov classic for you all to read and enjoy the mystery of. Book club meets 30 minutes before Star, right outside. Look for Alex.
Also, the meeting time for book club can change and show interest.
Yes, so that is a negotiable time. You can speak to Alex about getting that reorganized. Yes, this is the next slide. Peer committee. This is one of the committees that we run. It meets Wednesdays at 8 p.m. In SAU 2740, which is right back over there. We make posters for oncoming missions, but as we are just finishing up the last couple of those, we are going to be starting to make some of the materials for Starfest, which is our big sci-fi convention that we run every year. So basically, we're going to be making a bunch of a variety of really cool superhero themed stuff. So if you know a lot about if you like making things or know a lot about superhero aesthetic and whatnot, definitely show up here. We could use your help. Speaking of Starfest and superhero things, the overall Greater Starfest Committee meets Sundays at noon in the SAU Mosaic Room, which is a little bit further down that hall, and then up a little stairs and around another corner. This is going to be the grander planning of all things Starfest. There's a whole lot of subcommittees that I'm not going to go through because there's so many of them that you can join, only the ones that you're interested in. So you will put your skills to work exactly where you want them to. You won't have to worry about the things that you don't want to have to worry about. This is, Starfest again. It's our big sci-fi convention that we run every year. There's a lot of work that needs to go into making this awesome event happen, and being a part of that is a lot of fun. If you want a little bit more web dev experience, or you want to show off what you have, the first and third Sunday of every month at 5 p.m., so that is this oncoming Sunday, our WEBMASTER committee meets to do add all sorts of really cool features to our Star website. So this is a great piece to put on your resume, or just a lot of fun to hang out with. Yes?
Where do y'all meet?
Zachary, where is WEBMASTER meeting this week?
I don't have the calendar up in front of me. It's usually somewhere upstairs in this building, either in 2740 where PR committee meets, or in 2520 where Starfest committee meets.
It's,
one or the other.
SAU 100.
It's downstairs, right down those stairs over there in SAU 1000.
Okay.
It's a brand new location for WEBMASTER committee, but in the same building, easy to find right across from the welcome desk.
Okay.
These are our fantastic Star t-shirts. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend them picking up. They are pretty comfortable and they're pretty cool. There are, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned member benefits. Discounted t-shirts is one of them. So membership is $10 and a t-shirt is $10. So we have a special $20 deal where you hand us one $20 bill and we give you two things, a membership and a t-shirt. Pretty good deal for you. Two things is better than one thing. Final call for PowerPoints for PowerPoint karaoke. If anyone is unfamiliar with what PowerPoint karaoke is, basically you make a presentation for someone else, either someone random or someone of your choice, and they have no idea what it is, and they have to stand up in front of everybody and pretend to be an expert in this random topic that you have given them and prepared all of their slides for. So it's a lot of fun to just come up with something silly, goofy, wacky, and have someone else present it. These submissions close tonight. At midnight. So make us a really cool PowerPoint, send it into star@rat.edu, and we will put that in a rotation for our PowerPoint karaoke mission. I see a question in the back. Is there a what? A slide? We do have a presentation limit, so don't make it 150 slides. Make it a reasonable that someone could present in about 5 minutes or so.
So 5 to 10 slides?
Well,
Yeah.
It can be more, but with the expectation that it can be done in that amount of time. So if it's 100 slides, it better be 100 slides that take, a second each.
We've had ones that are over 20 slides, and they have one word.
If you are interested in joining the slides and aren't sure how, you can talk to any of the bridge crew, and we can get you set up in a minute and a half. And with that, I will hand it over to our presenter for AI and Sci-Fi. Woo!
Twitter. Onward is writing back as well.
Yeah.
Should have loaded by now.
Wi-Fi just glitched out on me, but it's
Artificial Intelligence Club and RIT Visual Intelligence. Thank you very much, Star, for hosting me. These slides were made in collaboration with a few members. We are very passionate about AI. We have a Slack if you're interested in joining it. That'll be appearing about right here. And also we meet on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. We consider ourselves a professional organization, so if you are in computer science, you want to learn more about artificial intelligence technology and how it works, then that's a great place. We do a lot of work in getting people started in their process of doing some research and learning more about how to manipulate the tools that I'm going to describe a little with a very high level detail in this presentation. I should go grab my water or something there. And for my next trip. So, a mathy presentation. I'm not going to go into huge detail about what machine learning is, but it does help to have some understanding about where AI is right now, because that informs portraying AI is how we portray AI in our film and literature and other sci-fi mediums. And I found that knowing the topic better helps me write better stories. That's why I like to learn a lot of things, have a very life experience. So I'd like to not have this presentation be a me talk at you about AI things, so much as it is a sort of guided discussion. Now, there is going to be a segment later where I'm going to do most of the talking because you will probably be too stunned to open your mouths, and that's okay. I was too when I first saw it. That being said, I'd like to get a general poll of what people think AI is right now. Any hands?
Heuristics?
Heuristics. So heuristics, for those who aren't familiar with the term, means that it is a guess. Usually solve a problem, make some kind of classification decision. Heuristics is a great term for AI because a lot of what we do is probabilistic, in that we can't exactly know what's best. We can make a good guess though.
Form of automation.
Form of automation. So what makes AI different from like a car manufacturing robot?
Well, instead of spending those hours design better antennas, which they never have thought of because of the rules and mess around.
That is a great example, and there's actually a lot of AI work being done right now. There are AIs that have been developing plane parts for use in production. I don't know the details on that, but I also know a little bit more details about AIs that can take a photo of someone and construct a 3D model of their face, which I think is really cool. Really useful for graphic design. There are AIs that can take a sketch of an image and turn it into a real thing, or vice versa. And they can take a geographic image taken from like a drone overhead and turn it into a map. All right. Any other hands?
I feel like artificial intelligence it's become a bit fuzzier than a single definition because it can be any combination from a bunch of effectively hard-coded handling of different states to trained neural networks to some people consider things involving genetic algorithms to be artificial intelligence. So
genetic algorithms are very analogous.
So really, it's just become I feel like a general term for technologies that allow machines to appear to be intelligent.
That's pretty close, actually, to what Merriam-Webster says. A branch of computer science dealing with the simulation of intelligent behavior in computers. Well, isn't that abstract? Isn't that ephemeral? How am I supposed to make any sense of that? Well, one way to start is to think about, well, what is intelligence? And I know that's not really a question that's supposed to be answered. I already called on you. It's hard to define intelligence in any meaningful or productive way. Anyone want to try?
The ability to recognize and then solve a problem?
That's a really, really close answer. It also depends kind of on what you define as a problem, but I'll accept that.
For pattern matching?
pattern matching is a critical aspect of intelligence, but it actually is a very small portion of it, which we'll explore later. According to Merriam-Webster again, intelligence is the ability to learn or understand or to otherwise deal with new or trying situations, which is basically meaning I can go do the thing I want to do most effectively accomplishes whatever I'm trying to do. So intelligence is kind of a gradient. There's not really a place. Usually when you get up to when things have brains, there's kind of no real place where or ends if you go below that point. The degrees of intelligence, like you can look at a chart of intelligence. The dog is a huge spectrum of what they're able to do, and all the way up to humans, we're still not having trouble nailing down makes it special. But one thing I've noticed when I've looked at sci-fi is that AIs tend to be a little bit human-like. So let me actually take a poll again. What are people's favorite AIs they've seen in a story?
The 200-Year Man. I don't remember, Bicentennial Man or something.
I've actually not read that one. Data from Star Trek.
I second that.
Data in Star Trek is a great example. I wish I knew more about him, but he is a classic, I would say.
Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yes.
It's been so long since I've read. It's been too long. I need to reread that, frankly. HAL 9000. We'll be talking more about him later. You know?
Everyone in Westworld.
Not true.
Effectively, an artificial intelligence that was programmed to in order to stop terrorist attacks, but it sees both terrorist attacks and regular premeditated crimes. So it goes on to how it develops itself in algorithms and may end up having under conscience.
You know, that's remarkably similar to what we're going over today, minus the conscience. Right.
I was going to say from, what was it? What was that one game? It's the WoW from, what was that one? It's Soma.
Soma. From what?
I don't remember what it is, but it's a game on Steam. It's pretty awesome. So it's
I
like,
think I've heard of that.
it's like basically, it was created for the purpose of preserving humanity, but then it kind of loose on that definition of preserving humanity.
It's the genie in a bottle, of course.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Goliath.
I believe that she was originally a person or something.
That was kind of like a program based on a person.
Oh, that's actually. Oh, wait. I never heard of that one, but there's a lot of AI in sci-fi. Most of it is at least a little bit human-like in that it can either communicate with us or is actually, has a humanoid body, which I find personally very interesting. We tend to consider AI as some sort of evolution of our own natural intelligence, going further beyond what we can think of, that they can reason beyond what level we would consider comprehensible. That sort of thing is generally where I see AI as being either they're very much like us or very much smarter than us. They have higher reasoning capacities than we do. They have the ability to understand things that we just find and nonsense. They can see patterns that are invisible to us. That's what I see when I see AI in sci-fi, and it's very important because I'm going to make a distinction that might help you understand how that compares to AI as it currently is. So you'll see these are the examples that came to mind when I was thinking of AI in sci-fi. generally strictly robotic. They have the capacity to communicate, if not with language, in a human-like way. They have relatively human-like forms, the exception being R2-D2, which again has seemingly a very effective way of communicating with humans based on my understanding of the movies. These are some of the most common examples of what people think of when they think of an artificial intelligent agent. And it's what they think of when they think of a smart robot. So let's take a step back and we do some comparisons now to what exists in the real world to do a purpose. Shells and concrete, mainly for structure when they're grown. Concrete also for structure. Concrete, pretty bad at replicating itself. The creatures that live in seashells pretty good at that. They've been doing it for a long time. But concrete is much stronger for our purposes than like ground up and pulverized seashells. That's what we use it. Also for rarity. Horses and cars. This is probably a pretty famous one. If you've ever seen the CGP grade video, humans need to not apply. This one comes up a lot. Obviously, a car is going to be a lot faster and more maintainable than a horse, more convenient. Birds and planes. Maybe the more appropriate analogy that I thought of later was griffins and planes. I imagine a lot of people would love riding a griffin around, but if you wanted to go from America to Europe, you'd probably use I'd imagine. And then finally, humans and AIs. It's important to realize that the AIs that are being created right now are not going to be designed necessarily with a human in mind. When we create an AI, we create it to do a purpose and do it extremely well. It may not end up looking exactly like what a human does. My wager is that it's going to end up looking very different from what a human does. So we'll see an example of that later. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about why, if we have such a good idea of what AI should be, why we aren't there yet. Why isn't there an AI that's taken over the world already? Well, it has to do with a few things. First of all, language. AI, I worked with a language bot over the past summer. They're not very good at their job. They are extremely incompetent when it comes to understanding language in the way that we would consider it. Mainly because they can't understand context and they have a memory of about a half a second, if that. Depending on how you train your neural network. Memory is extremely hard. There are some advanced algorithms are taking a little bit step further, but it's still a massive unresolved problem. And given all of this data we're feeding into the AI, what do we decide is important and what's unimportant? What do we decide to remember or not? Actually, you don't notice. I sometimes do when I forget that I have my car keys in one coat pocket over the other, and I have that mini heart attack, or I forget to take my homework with me when I go out. So memory isn't perfect, but in AI is even worse. You can't really have a conversation with something that doesn't remember who you are immediately after you, like even before you finish your sentence. And I have problems with that where it would cut me off. So then the last one might surprise you a little bit. AIs are actually really bad at anything we would consider human level learning. Which seems weird, right? We have all this talk about machine learning and neural networks and artificial brains, but when it comes to actually learning something, learning how to do it, exactly the reason why. I could, given some time, I could actually build a robot that could beat the first level of, Super Mario World, for example. But the same AI would not be able to beat the next level because it is essentially a blind person trying to figure out which combination of inputs would get it to the next level. But those skills do not transfer well at all to any other level, which is why you can't really see that many AIs, pardon me, actually beating the first Mario game. That's certainly, right now, beating a Mario game is an unsolved problem in AI, as far as I'm aware. There are some AI algorithms that can beat old Atari games, but not ones that actually involve any degree of thinking. Now, there's one that came out like last month that may do something cool of Montezuma's Revenge, which is an old adventure game, but right now, there's still a lot of work to be done. I just want to illustrate that because a lot of AIs that exist in sci-fi rely on some combination of all of these in order to actually function or do anything. And of course, the super powerful AIs that run society in some books could not exist if these problems aren't solved. Very, very important stuff that right now we don't have a good answer to after years and years of research. So then that begs the question, if AI can't do all of that, why do I hear so much about AI? Well, AI does one thing extremely well. You want to guess what AI does extremely well?
Doubling NVIDIA's stock price.
That is actually a really good example because AIs, I'll go into more detail a little bit later. AIs run, you're training your AI, it runs like twice or 3 times as fast as NVIDIA on NVIDIA's cards. Super, super useful stuff. Anyway, anyone else?
Doing the same thing over and over?
I could make a stupid algorithm that does that. That's just what you're describing as an error in your neural nets where it'll get stuck in a self-loop. If you train it on Taylor Swift songs, for example, you'll probably get the same lyric over and over and over again. And it'll actually be pretty accurate. Anyway, Ricardo.
Pattern detection.
Pattern detection. Well, I actually disagree with you. I'll explain why later.
Okay.
There is some rudimentary stuff with pattern matching that it does really well, but that's actually not the core of what AI does right now.
Okay.
The answer is data. So, as of way back when the first machine learning algorithms were developed, like the 1960s, we didn't actually have a good way of getting data in order to put it into our algorithms. But since then, we've had data. So much data, it's like a veritable avalanche. We can actually use the algorithms that are like older than twice my age. Now, there are new ones that are coming out that expand on the idea in certain respects, but majority of what we did consider machine learning has existed for a long time. It's only now that we can actually use the data and actually get some cool effects. So, how do we actually make any sense of this data? And then, furthermore, whose data is it? Well, the answer to the latter question is your data. Anything that can be represented in ones and zeros is probably in an AI somewhere trying to make you buy something. And that's just a fact of life. When you accept the terms and conditions, you are basically signing away, any free service, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. And sometimes it's both. Lately, but anyway. That's the big idea that I want to make sure everyone internalizes. Is your data being used? You're being tracked. I'm not bothered by it personally. I don't think it's a terribly big deal because I've been an AI engineer. We're not concerned with what any one specific person is doing. We're concerned with how we can make a lot of people buy 10% more things. And we abstract things to forget the nature of what we're doing, but that aside, it's your data being used. And for better or for worse, that's what society has agreed to. That's what we're going to do until there's a major change, this is what we're going to do. So then, let's step back a bit. How do we use that data? Well, I'd like a volunteer. I'd like a volunteer to come up with me, and we're going to do a little bit of a guessing game. And I'm going to demonstrate to you how AI works. I'd like to be someone from STAR who doesn't have as much familiarity with machine learning as they would necessarily like. Anyone want to come up with me? Come up with me. What's your name? Cameron. All right, Cameron. We are going to do a guessing game. I'm going to give you 10 numbers and a yes or a no. And then, given 3 more numbers, you're going to tell me whether or not they should be a yes or a no, based on what I told you in the first part. Does that make sense?
I think it will once we get into it.
All right, so basically I'm just going to, I can slow down a little bit. I'm going to give you 10 numbers.
Okay.
Those numbers are going to come with a label, yes or no. Then, with 3 new numbers that I'm not going to give you a label for, you're going to give me the label.
Okay, now it makes more sense.
All right, sorry. My pointer, just so I can count down the numbers. So, ready?
Okay.
13, no. 14, yes. 49, no. 51, no. 48, yes. 2, yes. 91, no. 68, yes. 26, yes. 37, no. You want more numbers, or you have a good idea of what's going on?
I need more numbers.
I need more numbers. Again, there's no shortage of data. Data in the hundreds of thousands of numbers until we get a sufficient accuracy. So I'll give you some more numbers. All right. 5, no. 6, yes. 9, no. 12, yes. 17, no. 24, yes.
Okay, I think I got it.
You think I got it?
I think I got it.
All right, so I'll give you 3 new numbers. 49.
No.
52.
Yes.
60.
Yes.
Gamble with a twist. Any volunteer? Forgot you come off.
Oh, okay.
Click on you. So, same idea. I'm going to give you 10 numbers with 10 labels, and if you need more numbers, just ask me at the end.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
59, yes. 42, yes. 63, no. 15, no. 16, yes. 1, no. 68, yes. 98, yes.
Couple more numbers?
Give you a couple more numbers.
Yeah.
48, yes. 11, no.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes you don't get as much data as you'd like, or as clean data as you would like. So we're going to try and do this. We're going to give you a few more numbers. We're going to ask you to pass out. 12.
Yes.
13.
No.
61.
Yes.
So this is an example of overfitting. You heard at the beginning that I gave an odd number that was a yes, but in fact, that was just a bad data point. It was an outlier. So his model got overfit. That's just an example of some of the problems we have with our data not exactly lining up with what our functions may be regarded. And it is a big problem for machine learning engineers because for that data inconsistencies like that, and for other reasons, we cannot get our algorithms to be 100% perfect. For the most part, that's okay. We can get like a 99.9% accuracy. And for most applications, that'll work great. For example, if you're trying to find out, using machine learning, if someone's going to, what's the likelihood of someone defaulting on their loan, for example, not the perfect example, but bear with me. If you can get in like a 90%, 99% confidence range of yes or no, then that's going to be all right. It's going to be a good situation. Where did I put the pointer?
Oh, you left it.
Okay, thank you. See, I have memory problems. I'm very sympathetic to machines. So one example, just to simplify what I just said down to something more concrete, this is what's called the MDIS data set. Essentially, every pixel going from left to the right is one data point of a value from 0 to 99, making up an image that's 742, dimensions essentially. And then you feed that into a machine learning algorithm, and it'll tell you, give you a number from 0 to 9, what number it is. It's extremely simple. It's, we actually went over that tutorial for using MNIST last week in the AI Club. It was a great time, and this is one representation of how you can actually train an algorithm like this. in general, the data is going to be a lot more abstract. For example, what your purchase histories have been will be, and your demographics, age, gender, sometimes, where you live, what other sites you visited in some cases, are all dimensions of data that can be fed into an algorithm to get to predict whether or not you will buy this thing or stay on this. If you find that unsettling, honestly, I don't disagree with you. I just don't buy anything. That's why I say. But this is here because it works. These algorithms that can track you and figure out why you think and how you think can be done without any understanding anything about what we think of as intelligence. It doesn't need to know what you're saying in order to pick out a few keywords, tag those to who you are as a personality, and then analyze, okay, he said these things about tech stuff, maybe I should market computer parts to him, for example. Or he talks about really hating vermin, maybe I should recommend these pesticides, right? Those would be picked out and added as a dimension to your buying profile, which is being shared between a lot of the giant tech companies. And this is kind of the sci-fi nature of the world we're currently living in. It makes money, so it exists. Against our laws more than it is against us. Even then, in 1984, though, I believe it was all human oversight. Just lots of cameras. So now I'm going to talk to you about the face of evil in the AI world. I mentioned earlier that AI is not 100% accurate. Sometimes you can get really, really darn close. Really close. So close, it would take a human to understand what the difference is between an error classification. Sometimes, though, when you're dealing with data at scale, those failures can be extremely strange and damaging.
Oh.
So some of you may have already heard of those. And if any of you haven't, so I'm not going to go over anything, any extremist content or any violent imagery or anything like that. Don't worry about that. I find pretty disturbing, but more on an existential level than an actual level. At any point in this presentation, if you feel uncomfortable, if you want to shame it, I probably would too. It took me a lot of time to actually dig up the worst of this. And I said, this is the face of evil. And you think I jest, but you'll see why. You may have heard about YouTube. YouTube is Frankenstein's monster of AI. It is extremely poorly designed, in my opinion, and it does not work well. It is also, by any definition, because that's actually made Google money since they bought it. And it's grown out of control, but for better or for worse. YouTube has an app called YouTube Kids. And on YouTube Kids, there is a content filter set up so that AI will look at a video, determine whether or not it's suitable for their YouTube Kids platform, marketed to kids ages 5 and under to watch YouTube. And then it'll decide, okay, this video is suitable for kids and this video isn't. Yes or no? Based on every dimension of every pixel in the video or some other outcome. There are lots of different ways you can do it. Some are more efficient than others. Some of them are more accurate than others. I don't know the specifics, but they do a thing with the data on YouTube. And suffice to say, it doesn't really work very well. And I'll explain why. So this came out just recently, in the past year. There was a story on it that actually came out just last Friday. But I did some digging at. You go to YouTube Kids, you'll see videos kind of like this. Now, this in and of itself, isn't that strange? It's kind of innocent. It's using stolen assets, but I'm not Disney, so I don't care. But so the gist of these videos is that they'll get like 4 stock images, put them on a pastel background, and what will happen is that the images will swap heads, and it'll play like a success sound whenever it gets to the right head. These videos are extremely easy to automatically produce and then just upload to YouTube. And they're off. They're not like, it's clearly like very bootlegged. Anyone can see that. But kids don't have any content filters. You know, the kids aren't rational actors, neither is the AI speaking of the videos. So they just click next, or where they autoplay, and they get shown these videos, and mom needs to take a break for a half hour or so. Yeah, so there's not any inherent problem with this. It's mainly that it can be automatically produced, but if you're not Disney or YouTube, you don't care. But it goes deeper than this. It goes a lot deeper than this. Being produced and what the algorithm can distinguish between what is suitable to be shown for kids and what isn't. Now, I'm not going to argue whether or not any specific piece of content in this is suitable for kids. I think that'll probably be pretty clear. Mainly what I want to talk about is what the algorithm thinks, or what YouTube's content filters, which are AI, or what they think is suitable to be shown to kids, and the ways in which they can be pretty easily duped. So, any of these seem off to you?
Yes. Spider-Man, also superheroes.
So these were in the suggested videos that I showed you. You know, the one that was blown out. So these are in the recommended videos. This is in the autoplay queue of YouTube. Not necessarily YouTube Kids. A lot of these are screened. A lot of these are screened. Like 8 and on a computer, and you're looking up like nursery rhyme videos, you'll still get these. As you know, another important way, not just YouTube Kids, but YouTube as a whole is recommending these videos to people that probably don't know better or shouldn't be shown this sort of thing. So there's that, and there are a lot of them. You see, these are all uploaded within, this month, within 3 weeks ago of the time I took this picture today. They're all about 20 minutes to a half hour long, roughly 15 minutes to a half hour long. Uploaded like 1 a day, say. And they're extremely weird.
Just quick, I immediately noticed lots of neon color.
Yeah. Well, what do you think gets kids' attention the best? Quality?
I noticed something else. I think all the titles have keywords in there so that the AI.
Word salad. Excellent.
They're just random generated lines.
Word salad, yummy, yummy.
Why are they all of them have something to do with superheroes?
That's true as well. There's a lot of bandwagon. It's just one channel.
It's literally just the same thing over and over.
This is one channel, and all these videos. So.
It's almost like the online equivalent of Stranger Things.
Yeah. Like that Minecraft.
Honestly, like Stranger Danger is like, in that territory, you're much more likely to be abused by a close relative or a close friend, someone that knows the family, that the family trusts, as opposed to a stranger. This is, I agree with you, probably much closer to Stranger Danger, because it's bad actors making videos to be shown to kids for ad revenue. No, I'll just add, the algorithm isn't concerned with what kids watch. It wants to get them to watch as much as possible, because this to YouTube is also ad revenue. YouTube is profiting on it.
Algorithm makes things based off popular media trying to watch a whole movie, watching things, get all the exact keywords for the YouTube search, and it's playing because they don't understand what they're looking at.
There's one possibility. I just looked up some of the keywords in the word salad, like wrong heads nursery rhyme, and I got led to this.
I just don't want to the YouTube algorithm. Just like specific things because those are the popular movies currently, kind of like current media trends, and for people actually be like they're about looking at.
Spider-Man and Elsa seem exceedingly popular.
Yeah, because your friends prefer to watch it.
This is the kind of thing you have to see to believe, but even if you could believe it, it actually gets even worse. how an algorithm would not be able to actually parse a lot of these data inappropriately. Like, for example, some of them feature violent imagery, which is the one, I don't know if it's up here right now, but there's one that Elsa gets hypnotized by Venom from the Spider-Man series and kidnapped. And then she gets buried up to her neck in dirt with like 4 other superheroes. That's as far as I can watch. It's very hard because again, the machine learning algorithms right now that are available right now, they have no idea about context. They have no understanding of what the world is. Based on the training data that, because you can't really ban these videos without banning a lot of legitimate kids videos too. Because it's mainly just colors. Seeing is colors on a screen. It doesn't really make sense of them. The algorithms aren't that sophisticated yet. Otherwise, you wouldn't see this stuff. Or at least the kids wouldn't. So here's another example. This is the one. This is an article we on last Friday. There are videos of Peppa Pig drinking bleach with her sister.
Oh god.
So beyond like weird imagery, it actually can get violent too. Now I omitted, I believe, the most violent examples from this. But again, like all you think this from the algorithm's point of view, it's just colors on a screen. The fact that some of those colors and lines make up the Clorox bleach container is not consequential to it. It doesn't understand.
Hey, please, 5-year-olds buy bleach.
Here's another example.
What?
What? Like I said, you have to see it to believe it. Yeah, this is my headcanon, by the way. This video is taken down, actually. But this was actually one, I believe, that was available on YouTube Kids for that long. So omitted here, but in the video, each of the ones. So I believe that the tallest, going down the line, they each shot the other one, and then at the end, he shot himself. And so the question is, this was another one that was on YouTube Kids. At what point does our, classification algorithm, is this okay or not okay, is the acceptable threshold for, someone being exposed to, this sort of AI failure, which it is an AI failure. You don't want your kids seeing this sort of thing. At least I don't. And I think it's very traumatic, especially because these kids are like 3 years old, for example, in some cases. So, and then who's accountable? Do you blame, YouTube has been under a lot of heat lately for extremist content on YouTube, and then was under a lot of heat for trying to resolve the issue, but going too far and taking down a lot of ad revenue from a lot of legitimate content producers. So YouTube and Google, in turn, with regards to YouTube, is in a really tight spot. And this is just another weight on their back, trying to deal with this, because their algorithms are not smart enough to handle what actually matters, what's actually okay to be on YouTube and what is not okay. And then at what point do you draw the line of what's okay and what's not okay? Because that can get pretty hairy too. How do you decide what content is to ban and which content to allow? Because eventually there's going to be one that crosses that line. So anyway, those are just the extreme, most egregious examples of AI failure that is in the public sphere today. I thought that was the most shocking. But the reality of this is that this sort of thing happens all the time. There are AI algorithms, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you're, something about you as a person can be represented in ones and zeros, it has been represented in ones and zeros, it is being processed, and it's being used to make you buy things or stay on Facebook longer. Sometimes that's for the best. I got recommended a really nice, animal page on Facebook. It shows me videos of cute animals, and I dig it. But sometimes it goes awry, or can be used to manipulate people, because these algorithms are fundamentally manipulative. there was an experiment a long time ago where Facebook's engineers did a little very unethical experiment by which it would see how people's moods changed when they were exposed to predominantly negative news. So that is one thing that could happen to you if Facebook decides, okay, let's make everyone depressed. Or alternatively, perhaps more eerily, let's not show anyone any negative news. Let's make everyone happy. So Facebook is one example of AI that is also kind of gone without having really any of that checks and balances, those many checks and balances. When we get right down to it, it's just math. You're just doing a linear regression. What you are as a person, trying to maximize the function of buy this or stay with me as long as possible. And that's where AI is right now. That is what AI is in a lot of cases. Now, there's research being done that's really cool. AI is like solving games and completing different puzzles, beating Go, all sorts of really wacky and wild things. But those are just research. What's implemented right now is the dumb AI that can't tell when Mickey Mouse is dressed up as Deadpool and pointing a gun at Minnie Mouse, who's also dressed up as Deadpool, who's pointing a gun at their 3 kids. Anyway, James Bridle wrote an excellent article on Medium, and the gist of it is that we have built a world that we can't control. You think of like AI that is artificially generally intelligent, smart as you are. Imagine what'll happen then. This is not looking good. I want you to gather from this is that right now we're not in a good position to actually control an AI that we can hardly control right now, as dumb as it is. So my concern is that this imminently will become the face of AI. Cold and without empathy, it wishes solely to exploit you for the benefit of whoever created it. Because I see a lot of this. I do a lot of research, read a lot of articles, and this is what I see. Hey, AI Club President. You may be missing a little bit of context, but don't worry, you're no worse than the AIs. So what can we do? Well, I always want to end these sorts of presentations on a lighter note, because there is a lot of really nice and cool work being done in AI right now. Really, a lot of research being done in personalized care and treatment. A lot of the data points that you as a patient, because your doctor sees like, say, 5 patients a day, and in order to give the most effective treatment, that has to know everything about them and their medical history. And that's not easy. So there's tools being developed right now to personalize that. I would gladly trade all of my secrets away to an AI, relative to my health, in order for a better chance at living a healthier life. I don't think that's unreasonable, personally. And a lot of people also don't think it's unreasonable, so that's why they're pursuing this research. It can really help a lot of people, doing the exact same thing that those YouTube algorithms are doing, but helping more than serve. In biotech, AI can be used to automate a lot of research and a lot of data analysis. Machine learning can be used to extrapolate patterns that we would have found harder to see, depending on the data set you're working with. Doesn't always work, but it can work a lot of the time. This is a nice one. Given an outbreak of a disease in some location, you feed in a bunch of data points to an algorithm and decide, okay, what other areas are most at risk based on migration patterns and like airport connections, stuff like that. And then tumor identification. This is a very famous example. There's a Kaggle competition. If you're not familiar, Kaggle was a tech competition where there was the task was you get like a several tens of $1,000s reward if you did it well. Given a picture, like a scan of a tumor, I think it was cervical cancer, determine whether or not it's malignant. And there are AIs that got like 99.9% accuracy on that, which is really helpful because sometimes it's like really hard to look at those. I'm not a doctor, but for me, it's really hard, to tell looking at those blobs.
Do you know that accuracy is higher than doctors, or like at the same level?
Even if it is at the same level as doctors, I imagine if 99.9, how much better do you get? it'll freeze up more time for doctors. And even a doctor can like do it once per se and can like pass or fail. Like a lot of these algorithms, and human, human verification, I guess is the best word, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. But they can also help save a lot of people time.
Is that because they want to check AI or to make it more efficient?
Usually to check. It's like a trust and verify thing. You know that?
What is the advantage of doing academic through AI as opposed to?
Well, there are a lot of, I will give you that, there are algorithms that can do epidemic prediction effectively. AI has implications of that. It can take more data and perhaps get a more accurate result. I didn't have time to do research specifically in epidemic prediction. What I will say is that, like I said earlier, amazing at chunking through data and finding things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise have found. So what I would imagine is that they would take a machine learning algorithm and corroborate it with whatever results they got from a traditional algorithm, compare their effectivenesses, and then adjust and plan for the future. That's what I would do. Ultimately, ethical AIs are possible. There are AIs that do a lot of really amazing things that help us out. And honestly, the world wouldn't be the same way, the world wouldn't be what it is without the help of a lot of these algorithms. Doing nice things like, predicting. It's like, have you ever used Gmail and has like the autocomplete message feature? It's like the thing that's right on the borderline between being creepy and useful. It'll like start your message for you, and like based on the contents of the previous messages as well as your speaking habit. And I find it fairly accurate, although I never use it because I always, I complete my responses, I'm pretty verbose, but anyway. Don't take from this presentation that AI is going to be terrible for the world. Just be cautious about the implications AI has in your life. Whenever you're browsing and like a suggestion pops up, just be aware of where that suggestion comes from. The fact that it's using everything that you've ever done, anything you say can or will be used against you in order to purchase something, be wary of how long you spend on some of these sites. You use to encourage what content you encourage them to present to you. Because these things, like we've seen already, they can be gained pretty easily. That can be for your benefit. All right, thank you very much. So, Ava, do we have a time for 40 minutes smoke or better?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, great. So, that being said, I would like you guys to split up into 4 groups, at least 1 board member per group. You do that? So, 1 group at this table, 1 group at this table, another group in the back, and another group in the back. So, another group.
Just sit John.
Hey!
Oh, she was over there. See, I told you. If John would play with I told you. Just sit here until one comes.
Well, I should have mentioned this. I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with it.
I know some readers about that. It's also the caption, but you could just put us all there.
I haven't gone back with power at this time.
All that stuff is basically now. It's all over campus now. I appreciate that. I'd say like we're gonna figure out this. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Frankly, like, I really doesn't want to I appreciate
See what
that. I don't think I'm knowledgeable
happens.
enough to I'm an animal leader. Which one I am about the sci-fi thing. I am a technical leader, but I'm probably not.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Hey, Claire, can you go grab that last group over there? Claire's going over
Honestly, this is a lot of
You end up with everything here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll mention that.
I heard that was the thing with the it being able to tell if people were gay or not, or they knew. And it was just like, hey, it promotes this like cruise, and they're like, what? That isn't for me. And then like a couple of years later, they're like, it was fair.
Oh yeah, my helper fell.
I think it's super cool. But also like another like LGBT related issue with AI is that for YouTube,
All the chairs
they started marking, this is more of a YouTube decisions thing than an AI thing. They marked any content that was kind of like gay, lesbian, any of that, they marked it as like inappropriate for younger users. Like all of it. And so it's like, if kids
Well,
are
I mean,
like,
to be fair, just the internet.
still, it's like,
kids are the most accepting. It's like I remember like learning about
To be fair, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't personally, but I'm just.
I don't like showing.
You could have done a good thing.
that's not really an AI thing though, that's a, yeah.
So we have 3 groups, which is exactly what we had when we did AI Club, when I said people to split into 4 groups. This is perfect, this 3 groups is great.
Yeah.
So the nature of this activity is that you're going to have about 15 minutes to think of an ethical AI that exists in the sci-fi realm. Now, I understand that the presentation didn't really focus on AI in sci-fi, because I feel like, to be honest with you, all of you collectively understand AI in sci-fi better than I do. I'm an AI engineer, I'm a computer scientist. As much as I would love to read all of the things about AI, I am up to my neck in reading about AI that exists right now. It is impart onto you guys my knowledge of what AI is, and you can show us, me and the AI Club president over there, Dylan Bold, come up, stand up, Dylan, and come up here. You're here to represent AI Club. He is the poster child. You're going to tell me what is an ethical AI that could exist in sci-fi. First of all, I'd like to be imaginative, not something that already necessarily exists, but this might be easier because there's going to be 2 more constraints. Artificial general intelligence, which basically means that for all the things that I said that an AI can't do, learning, context, and memory, you could probably get an AI that gets 2 of those, 1 or 2 of those, but not all of them, because that would make it pretty generally intelligent. Not an AI that, does the best thing for humanity by eliminating humanity, because I'm sure you're aware that's not in the best spirit of the question.
But
so after that, you're going to have about 20 minutes of brainstorm, and then one person from your group is going to come up and basically give a 3-minute introduction of what you came up with. And then after everyone's gone, we're going to go in the reverse order and say, okay, here's why my idea, and actually the entire group will come up and say, here's why our idea is better than everyone else's, more effective, more beneficial for humanity, that sort of thing. It has a little bit of competitive element that I think generates a lot more discussion. Cameron?
so we're choosing an example that already exists in a sci-fi world, or are we coming up
Come up with one is preferable.
Okay,
But
so
if you think I haven't heard of it, which is probably true because honestly I'm not nearly as well versed in this thing and these things as I would like to be, that's perfectly applicable as well. But remember, you still have to argue whether or not it's better than everyone else's, so it might be worthwhile to adapt something that already exists into something new.
choose like a sci-fi world and then put an AI in it?
You could go completely from scratch or mix and match things that already exist with things that you come up with. That's up to you. Again, it'll probably all be new to me. So as long as I can't tell, then you're good, because I'm the judge and Dylan is also the judge. We'll just vote collectively, well, us two collectively, on what we think is the best thing. All right, and with that, begin.
So you know that Microsoft AI that years later started being really vulgar and everything?
Yeah.
It's just the people who are. Yeah. It's very close. Where?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you set back to the general?
Yeah. Okay, avert your eyes.
About protein or
All of our preferring AI is
Well, yeah, this is
no context.
They're an AI designed just to reply that movies. It's ethical because it's all
Okay, this is the refrigerator. I think 2 out of 4 at max.
You figured it out.
Yeah,
That's it.
I got a good one.
First of all, we need to
You could probably design a DFA with AI.
Yeah, as long as first we need to like get. Wait, we need to like these familiar like. Everyone here like knows Star Trek, right? Like has seen every episode of everything. Knows what Star Trek is. I know. So, right, like space.
You know, you put in money and it decides what soda you want based on how much money you spend. I'd say, or no, it gives you an amount of soda based on how much you want to pay. You're putting a lot of money.
Probably a lot of soda, but like you could do that with
I also
not artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Is there a question? Is there a question?
I was about to say.
Why? I recognize that.
Like, how would it work? What about an AI?
I thought that this
How is that? In any way, shape, or form.
Well, what about things that you need based off of what you do on the internet?
Something like that. Like if it buys you random stuff every month and puts it in like a loot box, then you rate the box. And that looks
I could see that being like I could see that being something that like people would sign up for, like things I need based on what I do on the internet. Like, and it's like, hey, I noticed that you seem. It's like, hey, I noticed that you seem pretty upset. Here's a list of therapists near you. That's not money. That's just helpful.
So tell me when to start my
It's fine.
It's better than I. Because it's not going to save an hour before.
They're hurrying around.
I have no idea where you
Okay, so how do you do this?
that is a great idea. You don't know if you're going to use it.
I would say the thing that would be best for you.
So
We are thinking near future and small.
Alright, so we're on soda machines.
It's a cool idea because, like, people don't like making choices. People like having choices made for them, and they will give something money to make choices for them.
Yes. How about something besides what you have for dinner so you don't have to decide for yourself?
Yeah, like,
This feels pretty similar.
like,
Perhaps someone suggests they want to go out for dinner, that makes you pick the restaurant, or if they don't know what they want to do.
I just know we get a service and keeps you the camera. You wear the camera on you all the time. And the AI predicts what you should do every single second of the day.
We already have phones.
Driverless cars. There we go.
You just wear a visor to smooth what you do.
Driverless cars.
Let's get it.
And then you can just watch a car.
You underestimate most people that are on the road. Have you ever driven a car before? No, we'd be making less.
So, he said we're not supposed to do it all. We're doing that anyway.
Now we're all dead anyway.
Have you driven a car? We're not making how.
So we're not making out here. What we are doing is we're building the axiom.
Frankly, I think killing the bad drivers and making the good drivers safe is helping humanity either way.
This isn't the topic. That's Fahrenheit. That is Fahrenheit 451. Oh yeah. But the food thing is interesting because people try to implement that in other ways. Like I know that Zachary has a Trello line to keep track of like what is the food that is in the fridge, what are we low on, and so it's like using that could be used to figure out like, okay, this is the food that I have. These are the different things that I make with the amount of food that I have. But if you take it a step further into like AI territory, then you could do it in a way that's like, what have I eaten recently? What would I like? Yeah, here is based on like the stuff that you like to eat. Based on the stuff that you like to eat, here are other options based on like your physical activity. Here are some other options. Also a possibility, but that kind of thing could be pretty cool. I think we're probably heading in a direction kind of similar to that. Yeah.
Amazon does a pretty good job with suggesting that it kind of knows from a life. Oh, it's almost
But like, think about like, you go up to your fridge and it already knows what's in it, and it's like, what do you want to make for dinner? You can make list of things. And that's because like we still have to buy the stuff that makes up the food. That's oh my god. Any sort of arguments that people have about like 3D printing food and that solving everything usually comes down to when people are talking about it, it's like you don't understand. I know when people think that's the solution. So what you suggest you just don't have 3D printing? It's not that.
You can just look at it. I haven't seen a lot.
But we know the replicators. Like we say that it understands.
For the replicators, yeah. They basically turn nothing into like clothing, everything that they want.
Yeah, I don't. That's an energy.
When you use full quarters, if you want to run on the other side.
No. Kind of.
All the transporter engineers don't actually get paid for that. So they're telling crewmates
It's weird.
It actually goes. Yes. It's implied.
It's really interesting the way they do that. This isn't the thing that we're supposed to be you would still have to acquire. You still have control over like what food you are putting in,
that is inherently
Maybe or make suggestions of like.
It doesn't matter, it's deciding what's happening.
Thank you, hey, so considering all of the other stuff that you this could be a good choice for you based on your food preferences and what you would for you as a person. Maybe?
Okay, so you give it a test and it does it if it's determined to test it. That's inherently.
Nothing is more ethical than mixed ethics. It doesn't matter, you need to find ethical. As it has the right to do, it's the best what? It's kind of evolution. There's nothing more
To be fair, what Hitler was doing, he thought he was ethical. He wasn't.
We're going on.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying nobody knows what every single time, because it's true, he did think he was being ethical. My point is, ethical, the definition of ethics depends on who you ask, whether that's an AI or a human.
If we're defining that in the context of like the food thing that's like healthy eating, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's probably good for people to eat a healthy.
Well, it doesn't have.
So if it pushes people
Okay, guys, you have 5 minutes left, just letting you know.
I mean, you just guess it out.
Okay, so then so getting into eating better could be really hard. It could be something that like some people into it with like when you try to eat healthier, it's usually like, oh, I'm not gonna eat stuff that I like as much, but
In a better way to that's very rude.
it could be like, here are some options based on what you already like to do. That could be better. So it's like, I don't know, making people do things that they don't want to do, but turning them into things that they kind of want to do is usually pretty good. It depends on what context. It depends on what context.
That was my line. So the actual so machines are fighting exactly.
Yeah, in this context, it is.
You have machines that you're deciding
if you agree to wanting to eat better, then you would probably want to want this as this will ease me into eating
So I
better.
guess we can say that ethical is in society versus most society. It's one individual.
Yes, it is.
Just they've been sitting there for like half an hour. On the screen.
People come back and talk though, so I'm not.
No one here's the answer. You said a machine that ethically gives you food. So we should
It's what we have most of and we've already it is a machine that's goal is to have you eating better, not necessarily to make you lose weight, not necessarily to make you a certain percentage of like whatever your body or any certain amount of muscle. No, its goal is to have you eat better. not. But that can come at like cost, personal taste, and other stuff like that. So what would this machine be doing that would keep it on track and not hurt someone? Because like it could just
I think we need a better definition. Because better could be either.
Or is it just a whole
You gotta come up with a definition. Because better could be what's the healthiest, makes you healthy, or something, or what kills your best.
yeah. What if it were defined by the person? So then you get into dangerous territory, like someone who's like, I want to lose a ton of weight, and then it's like, okay, I as a machine can help you do that.
To be fair,
It's gonna hurt.
here's the problem. I would probably say better is what I want to be right now. And it's gonna be terrible shit. By buying. I'm not telling you.
The machine already is not important.
1 minute left.
I
Also, keep in mind,
we don't need to.
no, it's not.
All right, guys. So I'd like you to all pick who's going to present real quick, and then I'm going to organize groups. You're going to go first, then you, then you, then you. All right?
So is there a pitch or is it?
So the first is when you come up, you're going to send one person up, you're going to do a pitch. It's going to be 3 minutes, I'm going to time it. And during the pitch, no one else is allowed to talk, okay? Just give them the floor. And then each group is going to do their pitch, and we're going to go back in the opposite order. And the whole group is going to come up and defend theirs as the best when everyone else asks them questions. All right, does that make sense? And it's basically a way for you to, first of all, educate me on what you think about AI and where it could go in the science fiction genre and in the future. What's the most useful thing that could exist? Because I don't have an imagination, frankly, and it's really helpful for me. So, you all give this group a 4, 0 on this group 0.
Lovely. All right. So imagine with me, if you will, a brand new.
Guys, give me the floor. Can you go to the front to present?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Brenda likes it too.
All right. Yeah, I'll step into the camera. All right. I'll start over. Imagine with me, if you will, a brand new top-of-the-line spaceship, decked from top to bottom with all of the latest amenities. Most importantly, now these doors have 2 critical components of AI. Which, first of all, context. Second of all, language. Context is key in this because this door needs to understand if you are walking past it or if you intend to go through it. To be able to differentiate between people who usually go through these doors and something like a space pirate who should not be allowed to go through these doors. The second critical component of these artificially intelligent doors is language. They need to be able to express their satisfaction of opening and their content upon closing and completing a job well done.
No.
So these are important because in our current everyday life, doors play an important part. If our current dumb doors can suddenly become walls as soon as you lose your key. If you want to get in your car, but you've lost your key, your car is now without breaking the car, it is a impenetrable fortress, essentially. Your doors are walls. There's no way into your car. But in your new spaceship, with its artificially intelligent doors, there is no chance of them becoming walls for you because they understand you and they understand that they are good.
For the sake of memory, that could be I'll just think in my head, well, they don't remember you. But that's not applicable for that stuff. Anyway, group number 1.
You still have doors on the outside on the spaceship? We
Uh,
wouldn't use the AI doors for that.
well, no, if you don't intend to go out the door, it won't open.
So,
we have already discussed how social media can be negative with AI nowadays. I'm going to discuss how it could possibly be a positive thing if it's being directed in a completely constructive direction. Imagine if you could possibly connect with hundreds of thousands of people around the world, all instantaneously. A social media platform that could connect all your positive desires and interests so that you could help better the world. Using this system, once it's connected to your mind, you will be completely focused on the self. There will be no discrimination after this AI is introduced. There will be no global warming because the entire population of willing constituents will be entirely focused on destroying that as well. Everyone will be fed because everyone's food will be exactly evenly distributed. People will all live in single empty houses, so there will be no homelessness. I present to you the hive mind.
I saw this episode of Black Mirror.
It's ethical after you're uploaded.
So basically,
sorry to interrupt you, but you were saying, I saw the timer, you have to say you have an AI that shows you immediately what it thinks you most need to be shown?
No, it's in your head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your brain and beliefs and everything you think.
That's a big easy.
1984 Pocket Edition. Or Implant Edition, rather. 1984.
Yeah. Except in a positive way.
Yeah, okay then. I am ashamed that I did not come up with this.
You guys really should have come up with a source.
No, we came up with pizza rolls.
Hello.
All right, get on the floor, guys.
You lovely people with our wonderful idea of your brand new state-of-the-art space fridge. It's like a regular fridge, but in space, so it's sci-fi. This fridge will help you eat better. It has memory. By knowing it will remember what you like to eat. And it has context because it knows that you're probably not eating very well because it knows what you eat. So in having those two things, it is going to use that to come up with suggestions of things that you could be eating instead. Because it has the memory of this person really likes eating pizza rolls, but they could really be eating something else. And they have the context of like, they like pizza rolls, but I also know that they like these things. And by knowing what sort of foods that they like, they can come up with better for you alternatives. Space fridge. Space fridge.
Now, what kind of door is on the space fridge?
Space obviously, we're using the doors.
I sense a collaboration.
Spaceship, space fridge, space doors.
Version of those doors. And they also like have gravity locks to prevent you from ever eating or ability to hear.
Maybe not so good. We don't want to take it too far because otherwise people will starve.
Oh, wow.
And that's less ethical.
All right, thank you very much for two.
Our system would make sure that you never had to worry about something not being on that.
Fair.
It's not unethical if you don't know about it.
That's not all right.
So we all have jobs that we don't like doing. There's all sorts of things that we don't really want to touch and really need to be done. So what we propose is the trash man. He comes out and he picks up all the trash. It's of course contextualized so that he doesn't pick up things that we wouldn't consider to be trash.
Like small children.
Yes. Like small
Even though they
children.
are trash.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. This AI, of course, doesn't have the luxury of opinion. That way it can't develop a dislike for small children and conceive them as trash. So what we have is an AI that loves to do a job that no one wants to do and needs to be done.
It needs to eat garbage.
Nothing about Always Sunny is ethical.
Wasn't this just Wally? It's for the troops.
Why does every show need to be Wally?
All right, so now what's going to happen is that the entire group is going to come up in the reverse order that they came up. So group 3, please all stand up and get to the presenting window, and you're going to defend yourselves and say why the trash man is better than automated refrigerator, smart doors, and the hive mind. So please come to the front. Come on, guys. You participated in this. You have to own up to what you created.
It's his fault the name is bad, okay?
I love the name, Frank. Come on.
It's Always Sunny reference.
All right, so now you guys get to cross-examine why the trash man is not as good as what your group came up with.
So how does it dispose of this garbage? Does it like eat it or like what? I mean, it's more of like it's the thing that picks it up and then like it takes it to places where we get.
You think like a litter collection robot, for example?
Are you speaking of a trash truck? A garbage truck?
No, but it would be like it probably with more advanced robotics that can identify what things are supposed to be where.
Like you know how driving garbage truck. You're telling me that it doesn't. It just says, okay, this place is or this stuff is in here, therefore it's trash.
I mean, if it was in Philadelphia,
it's basically if your microwave is on top of a dumpster, everyone's going to assume it's trash.
Yes,
if the microwave is in the dumpster, everyone's going to assume it's trash.
So you're telling me it just looks at the dumpster?
Well, it's saying it has context.
On the ground.
It has context, and then it also has memory.
It's like highway littering, for example. You can have it clean up all of that.
Yeah, like you know about those like adopt a highway programs that people do like because of charity, not really because they want to. This does that kind of thing where it just like we'll like go along the road and pick up garbage.
One person's trash is another person's treasure. So by that logic, nothing is actually trash because it's easily a piece of valuable to somebody else.
Well, yes, but the point is it's not getting rid of it. It's moving it to places.
Well, Joe, if that's the case, then we should arrest all trash.
How does the trash man handle like lost jewelry in the Sci-fi zone?
It just goes back to context, right? If you can figure there's a reasonable reason for it to assume that it's not trash.
I'll give you a free one. It blames somebody else.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really.
Somebody else's.
Over there?
How
does it have language?
How's it deal with recyclables?
I mean, it's more of like it doesn't really destroy the object. It's
Well, in
more
the same
relocation to,
in the same way that like one of those bottle collection, one of the redemption machines can tell the difference between a returnable bottle and a bottle that you can't.
Okay, with the microwave example, what if the microwave is on top of a dumpster? It identifies that microwave as being trash, right? What if that microwave was filled with baby kittens?
That's an entirely different thing because it's like, why would there be baby kittens in the microwave?
I imagine that it would be able to tell if there were baby kittens.
Dude, I'm pretty sure a human trash man would make that mistake.
Yeah. So like, what if it's a baby on top of a dumpster?
Well, then it'll move the baby and take the trash.
I mean, that's somebody else's problem. It would have to have, it has context to identify.
That's why it's so important that AIs end up understanding context.
It has context to understand what is a living thing.
Well, if we're still on Always Sunny, They just take the trash kitten and they take the trash baby and they raise it. I don't know.
And it only has context and memory, right?
Yes.
How are you raising a baby without language?
I don't know why it wouldn't raise the kids.
One minute, I would say,
Maybe it just raises a child to be a trash robot. And it doesn't need them.
You'd have to.
No, because you're a valuable member of our society.
Yeah,
The trash cans.
You have to input yourself. Also, you're living, so you don't identify as trash if you're alive.
Empathetic trash robot coming in.
What definition of living? Because like if you throw away potted plants, but you don't want it anymore, would it save it?
No.
Maybe
Also, because for this to work, you would have to have a contextual thing where it has a parameter base.
Or are we talking about spiritually dead or alive?
Well,
I don't think we can go into spiritual.
I mean, well, can you tell me what a spirit is and then tell me then like I don't know how a robot's gonna know.
Does it throw a spot?
No. Actually, one of the things that we talked about over there was, in general, it doesn't want to dispose of bodies unless they're specifically like marked for that.
I took that marker.
Body bag
Dispose of me where no one will find me.
No, it's like a symbol, like this. I think it's like QR code, but it also like specifically like ordained to a specific thing, or like a specific like marketing, or like body bags that have specific marks on it.
Anyways, Cameron.
So this is unethical because as soon as this robot goes towards like a shanty town or something, and it finds someone's home where nobody is home, it's going to see a collection of trash.
No, because it has context where it will identify that this is the home space.
Well, no, there is no person living there. It is a cardboard box on the side of the road.
I mean, wouldn't you as a garbage collector also make them mistakes?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we're not comparing it to humans. We're comparing it to.
Well, I mean,
unethical.
Anyway, garbage collectors are unethical. Thank you very much. Trash man Drew.
Check the dumpster.
So then we're going to group natural refrigerator space fridge.
Space fridge.
Space fridge.
Space fridge. Space fridge.
What's Germany?
Space fridge. Space fridge. Space.
Well, big movie, so this one actually really appeals to me.
Space fridge.
You just have to tear it apart.
There, it's automatically ethical. We win.
My question is, let's say like you really like pizza rolls and you've eaten too many in a day. Would the fridge just lock you out then?
No, because that's unethical. It's only going to be able to help you if you let it help you.
Oh, well, that's the suggestion.
So
I mean,
you can waste money and buy this fridge if you're not going to use it for what it should be used for.
Oh, I mean, it's not the problem with the ours, guys.
My fridge would be like, stop
It's not
saying.
their
Well, why do you buy a fridge?
I've got an ethical problem. Literally eating one more pizza roll kills the user.
That's not the fridge's fault.
The fridge only makes
It would kill you.
But so it only has memory and context?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
So it should have context as to whether you're about to die if you ingest another pizza roll.
I imagine the LD50 of pizza rolls is above the normal human body weight.
I like that this is only in the context of pizza rolls. That makes me
Like here's the thing.
It's just like, okay.
Here's the thing. It's like if you were about to eat that pizza roll, but like I was standing here, and I didn't stop you. I'm not. It's not unethical for me to say no because I didn't know if you'd eat that pizza roll.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good Samaritan argument in philosophy.
Fridges are not replaceable for physicians. It's just
Yeah.
So if you have an AI that's based around human taste, how do you avoid making these incident?
I want my
Explain that to me.
I
Don't put humans on the ship.
If one person could talk at a time, please. Thank you.
Joe, it makes these incident in Neutron.
Oh.
Jesus.
I guess you can. I don't exactly remember,
Neither
but
do I, but I remember that.
I also.
Wipe out all of our.
Is that the Burger
That was
King? This is different.
No. Like, the fridge doesn't have agency. It's just, it's like, it's not complex.
Yeah, I mean the fridge decided.
The fridge figures out what you like. If you develop a taste for humans, it's fine by whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. So this fridge understands context in your food history, and it remembers that food history. So as soon as I have a bunch of people over for my Thanksgiving dinner, I've completely thrown off all of my data because my fridge goes, he just consumed 30,000 calories.
It also understands context.
Well, it understands context, like all context.
Context of,
So, like,
it's Thanksgiving.
Like, it will know that multiple people are opening this fridge.
I mean, to be fair, I'm preparing the food for everyone. I'm a good host. Like, no one else is eating this fridge.
To be fair, let's assume we use your door. That's your problem.
In terms of context, the context is you are serving a lot of people and it is Thanksgiving. That is context that could be taken into account. Yes.
Okay, what I'm still not understanding is what you are getting out of the hardware aspect, because you have something that it knows what food you've gotten, what food you eat, and can make suggestions based on that. But there are already apps that do that on your phone. You've just bought one of those fancy fridges with an Android display.
Those apps, they're so hard to use because you have to enter in every single thing that you
No, I'm just saying, I try to understand what I'm getting out of this being in my fridge rather than an app for this. Why am I getting additional hardware?
In terms of it being in your fridge, it already knows what is in your fridge. So like, say you have a carton of eggs and you use 4 of the eggs. It knows how many eggs you have left. That's also really convenient, even if you're not like trying to eat better. That's just convenient as hell.
We have a question over here on this side of the room.
This is less for the argument itself, more just out of general curiosity. Let's say I had this fridge and I put garbage in there. That the trash man had been eating a lot of garbage that day. What would it do in response?
That's a very good question. Probably it would go into a different loop.
Well, it's not going to withhold the garbage from the trash man because it is not going to withhold food from you. You have to make the choice to follow this fridge's advice.
If you want to explode like Mr. Creosote, that's your choice.
I have one actually on one of the questions. So first of all, do you think that this space fridge would be connected to some sort of large database if it was on a terrestrial body, like Earth? Like would it be connected to the internet, basically? Okay, if it was technically, and I put illegal drugs in the fridge, would it be obligated to report them?
I don't think it would.
Okay, interesting. That was just a curiosity.
I don't think you know what the drugs were.
Anyway, we're out of time for group fridge. Thank you very much.
You can probably just say, I don't recognize this. This is not a food. This is some really weird right
No, let's just go one word.
All right, so why is the trash group? So yeah, why is the trash group, and why is the door group, and why is the fridge group better than a hive mind? I want to hear it.
We're gonna get canceled.
So what sci-fi setting? What sci-fi setting are you trying to write where basically where people are trying to rebel against those being controlled by the hive mind, and then people become brain dead because the coronavirus gets in the hive mind now causes you to
Yeah, if you have a hive mind, it might be vulnerable. It might be cyber vulnerable. What do you do when someone hacks the network?
Counterpoint. The network being intimately connected to all the human minds that make it up, it would be hacking. It would require basically hacking the human mind itself and all of its constituent components.
Which is cool because you make technology that replicates the human mind.
And you still really mess someone up by mixing up the framework that goes in between minds.
Yeah.
Also, worms like a worm.
But I would also make just the simple counterpoint of the more people join the hive mind, the more likely it is that somebody who is in the hive mind already knows the counterpoint. So thus, the larger your hive mind, the safer it is.
Logan.
Some can argue that part of being human is being our own individuals. The fact that we are our own people, and the hive mind kind of takes away with that. Or that technically counts.
What individuality is retained with your mind?
Okay, so what we're talking about is it's not something that we're forcing you into. It's a social media platform for people who are lonely, basically, like Facebook or Twitter. So you join it hoping to be connected to other people and to be a part of a larger community.
So it's like a religion.
Individuality is maintained, but it's only the single entities.
Wait, are you guys talking about Gaia?
Join the board.
So after you're joined to this, can you disconnect it from it?
Well, because once you join, you are part of a greater community. So if one person disconnects, the whole community would have to want to agree to disconnect. So theoretically, it would be possible to disconnect from the entire system, but it would have to involve every single member agreeing to do
You
so.
literally have to piss off the entire system and make them want you to leave.
Let's go. Well, it's because it's your own want. So if a person willingly joins, there's nothing else you can do about it. The same way, if a person decides, decides to.
It's a contract. It's like entering into a contract you think you want to enter into, and then like a day later you're like, oh shit, I want to back out.
No, but that's the beauty of it. After you join the hive mind, your desires melt with all of the other desires already there. So you won't be like, man, I want to leave. You'll be like, man, I love this.
Hey, Cameron.
So you said that the purpose of this, like part of it, is that it shows you things that make you happy. What if I am a person, I don't realize this about myself yet, but what if I'm a person who is actually most content when they are sad?
It's not, it's like, maybe you as an individual find yourself enjoying being sad or in sad situations. But once you join the entire community, that is only a single part. So maybe you get a little bit of enjoyment from the sadness, but for the greater community, if the greater community decides that they like happy things, then that is something that you will enjoy.
So part two, what if the entire system is made up of people like me? Where the system is at one part of its core trying to make everybody happy, but at another part of its core, it's trying to appeal to everyone who's connected, who actually wants to be sad. So the two core parts are now in conflict.
So in this situation, you're saying if all of the people want to be sad, then this is a hypothetical situation where all of humanity wants to be sad. And it is incredibly likely that the AI would be designed accordingly so that it would try to make everyone very sad.
So many questions, holy crap.
Let's go to a different person. You.
What happens when this AI makes a mistake? Does everybody stop breathing?
Well, if you make a mistake, everyone makes a mistake. So you stub your toe, everyone stubs your toe.
You're all in this together.
Yeah, so
including the guy in a wheelchair.
At the same time, with that being said, there's also all of the intelligences being added together. So when there are larger projects being worked on and more important decisions that need to be made, because you can allocate more intelligence to that, it's less likely for it to occur.
All right, we're out of time for Group Hive Mind. Thank you very much.
Join the board. We swear it'll be fun.
Explain why Join the Board is the best among all the ideas for doors.
Cybermen want it.
Oh no.
Now you're thinking with doors.
All right, so whenever you're ready.
All right, who has questions about doors?
Where does Jim Morrison factor into this?
He's Wizard King, so he's the great. Could I have real fake doors?
Like you could have a door that opens up to nothing, and it would be very happy to open up to nothing, and then it would be satisfied to close on top of nothing again. A door to a wall, if you will.
I will restate the question I asked earlier. Is there an
exit door to this ship?
Yes, but it understands the context that there is space on the other side. And will not open unless you have the context of being in an EVA suit, in which it goes, yes, this person can survive in space and wants to exit through this door. And it also understands the context of there is no one else in this airlock who could not survive on the other side of this door, and would then happily and tell you happily that it opens.
And I understand the context that there's nothing on the other side of the door that can potentially harm you.
Wait. So this door would let me shoot myself out into space without an EVA suit?
No.
That's what we just said.
The context of you not being in the suit and thus not being able to
Right.
can tell you happily that it would gladly open for you if
The door will not eventually kill you. We have a question with that.
When can I install my door murder program? Like my door security personnel removal program.
You would need a different AI that is.
Suggesting a door that crushes the people who aren't supposed to be going through them.
These doors are friendly. Yeah, these doors are happy to open and close because their job is to allow particular people passage through them, not partially through them.
All right, here's my question.
Oh, here we got one in the back.
How does it determine who is supposed to get through?
So yeah, context.
Like being more specific than just its context.
That's everyone else's argument.
Yeah, it's the context of who owns the ship. Like, if you own something, you walk up to it differently than if you don't own it.
Also, it's
so what if the ship is owned by a space pirate and the person that's trying to enter it is the space police? Well, they won't let you in.
Well,
it doesn't let them in.
Well, then this.
It has the context of recognizing the space police. Even the doors are obviously programmed with that knowledge.
Yeah, they need a warrant. Yeah, it understands the context of a warrant.
I have a question for you guys, and I want to make sure it's heard. Why does it matter that the door feels anything?
Well, that is where the ethics come in. It is important. It is important for humanity to feel like good things are happening, right? It's when you see someone happy, you yourself are happy, and true happiness comes from doing your task. Humanity, one of our greatest questions is, what is our task? And now, with our doors, you have the pleasure of regularly interacting with something that knows what its task is and can tell you how happy it is to be performing its task.
Grade A bullshit.
People love that stuff.
Nice.
Okay, we're gonna go back to front. So.
Quick question: do the doors gain romantic pleasure, not sensual, romantic? Like, are they?
You're not building.
It doesn't have memory, so
you're not building a relationship with the door.
So
it's not a romantic or sexual pleasure. It's the pleasure that you get when you are working at something and then you finish it, and like that, it just feels good to get done what you've been working at. That is what the doors are.
What you do when you work.
It's like satisfaction.
Good to know.
Okay, so I have 2, possibly 3 questions. The first one, I want to reestablish, this door will close itself and prevent intruders from coming in and harming you.
Yeah, they don't understand the context of a robber / space pirate.
Okay, so let's say I and 4 of my friends are tied up in our spaceship.
Okay.
A 5th friend of mine is laying in the doorway. And there are intruders who intend to kill the 5 of us inside, but not the one in the doorway. What would be do?
So the door understands the context of the trolley problem.
But where does it sign on the trolley problem?
And that is my answer. Multi-track drifting, closes it and then reopens.
After doing so.
Very, because multi-track drifting is always satisfying.
Okay, so another hypothetical situation. So you have 2 people who have equal ownership of this door. Let's say they both live in this house together. One person wants to enter, the other person does not want to. So they are sitting both together. Which one does the door follow? Does the door open or does it?
The door recognizes that someone with permission wants to enter. It opens for that person. If the other person doesn't
the
follow,
other person explicitly does not want the door to open at all. all.
Well,
If they want it to be locked, they locked.
If they don't want to enter versus if they don't want it to open, those are
What if someone's trying to chase, something like say in like domestic violence situation?
okay. The door understands the context of domestic violence and knows that one person intends to harm another person.
Yeah. Everyone's AI here involves context. It's the
Yeah,
that's the whole in everyone's arguments.
Yeah, and so that's. I just want to some closing thoughts. Pretty much everyone's AI involves the ability to parse or understand context in some way, which should illustrate to you the importance in the AI community of trying to actually solve that problem of context and the difficulty to do that, because we understand it's so important to all of these different issues. And I prefer Fridge Group the best. I mean, that if I was to have any of theirs, any of the AIs mentioned, I think the Fridge Group for me would have been better. Trash was great for like cleaning up cities.
Oh,
sorry. Trash there, really great idea for cleaning up cities and parks and environments. That's a great one. I actually really dig Tor. I think that there's a lot to be said for humanizing AIs.
Real space doors.
I would love to hear more about how you actually intend to develop the connection between humans, and how that was going, how that in your world,
how it's not equal with
Well, it's sort of already begun. So you mentioned before how kind of we wanted to be talking about this.
Sure.
So social media and sort of marketing in general has sort of gathered information about people based on their social media actions. So we can research the base of what people like to do with a certain community, that they enjoy, what they like, dislike, and what they would want to do. So that's sort of already a basis.
And a platform that shows you the news that you want to see.
I appreciate that. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Also,
Good job.
this becomes irrelevant if you all go in the highlight.
One person dies in the high line. Is that
You're all in the highlight. Like with the one missile, you want something you want something, no, is it fully true? Because it's a single physical form wording itself. It's irrelevant to the greater context.
Okay, round of applause for this, everybody. Thank you to AI Club for Yep, I'm just gonna pop up here. Okay, just some closing announcements for everybody. Remember that we have the committees that we have going on this week. PR is Wednesday, Starfest is Sunday, and WEBMASTER is also Sunday. We are also going to the Strong Museum this weekend. The Strong Museum is super cool. There's a bunch of fun stuff for you to do if you want to stop by and come with us. And again, you can get in for free. If you haven't gone, there's a lot, like there's an arcade. There's like a bunch of just like obviously it's museums. There's like a bunch of learning areas. There's like a huge like gaming section that goes through a lot of history of gaming. There's a lot of really cool exhibits and rare stuff there. And again, you can get into and see all of this for free if you help us drive people there. That is this Saturday. We are meeting at noon in the SAU right outside Nathan's. And then from that. Everybody have a great rest of your Monday.
Oh, you got a question?
Oh, yes.
How much does it cost for non-drivers?
For non-drivers, they do a student deal where regular tickets are $14, but if you come with another student, they do a 2 tickets for the price of 1, so it's like $7. Yay, tickets.
How do we sign up? Sorry.
Oh, you can sign up with me afterwards. I will pull the form up. We also have it on Slack. Wait, you're on Slack?
Yes.
You got that.
How do we deliver our karaoke PowerPoint?
You send it to
star@rat.edu.
Those are due tonight.
Yeah, PowerPoints are due at midnight tonight for PowerPoint karaoke.
Star@rat.edu. If it's a Google Slides presentation, just you share it with star@rat.edu. Google Slides is preferred. If it's a PowerPoint, just email the file.
Yeah. And you'll make sure that when you like give it to the person for them to present it, you won't like show them the like.
They see nothing.
Yeah.
They see the slides as they come up.
Also, if you want to send us a PowerPoint, you forget our email, just send it to one of us. Send it to
Cameron Davis or
Ava Enoch. if you remember any of our names, we'll
If
figure
you,
it out.
if you forget the STAR email, go to the STAR website, scroll to the bottom, and click the email button.
And if you don't know where the STAR website is, you can go to our Facebook group and contact. There's lots of ways to get in contact with us.
You can Google
Any
all
one
the
of those.
adventures at RIT.
All of them. Go to our YouTube and leave a comment.
I promise you can find us.
I guess if I do that and
Or like,
if I do that, I will come and I'll be.
Email your presentation, like, share, and subscribe.
Alrighty.
Okay, I guess.
Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. See you all next week.
We went to.